Good morning, Saugus. I'm Marisa Lamas, and today is Friday, May 8th. Welcome to SNN, Quarantine Edition. Congratulations to all of our Directing Change video contest winners. Let's take a look at the other winners' videos that we didn't get to see last week, and hear from them on their experience.
The world of mental health is a very strange and alien one that we've yet to fully understand. But what we do know is that it greatly impacts us all, regardless of age or gender. And what you'll often see is that the solution is quite simple. What do we have going on here? What's the matter, little Bobby?
I got a 50 on my arithmetic test.
Well, don't fret, sport. Your mental health is much more important than a measly test grade. Stress is what's got you down.
Really, mister?
Yes. Stressing over academics is one of the biggest problems within our youth. Here's a past student to tell you his peace of mind. Remember, he's been through it, folks.
Take it from me. School is important, but your mental health is much more important. A few measly letters shouldn't dictate how you feel all the time. Just remember, school isn't about the grades you get, it's about what you learn.
As you've seen, mental health impacts people of all shapes and sizes. If you or a loved one has been displaying signs of depression or suicidal behavior, dial this toll-free number at 1-800-273-8255. And remember, don't be afraid of the stigma surrounding mental health. You are not alone.
When it came to the actual directing process, we knew going in that we wanted to make it as authentic as physically possible. So we did this by getting all of these 1950s PSAs off of YouTube and just watching them one after another. And once you do that, you're able to find all these very subtle details, like how they move, their mannerisms, their very slight Humphrey Bogart tone of the voice, just like slang that they say. And it's really important information when you're trying to recreate something like this, because then you can go and incorporate that into the script. And then kind of when you just like improvise off the top of your head when actual shooting, you can be like, oh, it would be a really good idea, that kind of stuff. So it just worked out really well, and I'm really happy that we did that, and especially with editing techniques that we used, like distorting audio, changing the filter, lowering the frame rate and stuff like that. We were able to make something that looks straight out of the 1950s, and I think it turned out very well.
So as far as set design goes, we wanted that 50s vibe. All we really needed was a school, green screen, and a house, all materials that were provided to us. It was simply just setting up the camera on the tripod, getting the correct headroom, and then hitting the magic red button. For clothing, it wasn't that hard either. It was a white shirt tucked into some jeans with a belt. And all the character had to do was hold a binder to represent a high school teenager from back then. And same goes for the editing process. We wanted the 50s vibe. So we added film grain, we added audio distortion, and we added some VHS filters, etc., plenty others. And the whole point of our movie was we wanted to stand out from the rest. And that is exactly what we did. You look at anybody else's movies, and they're from today. And we had ours from the 50s, It was kind of like a children's toy commercial almost. Like a kid acting because he was going to get a lollipop at the end, Like it had that type of feeling when watching the video. And I think because of all of this, our movie turned out amazing.
Hi, I'm Max Vezzali. I'm one of the 3 creators of the Directing Change project that God willingly wins once it hits statewide judging. We've already gotten 6th place, 1 out of 4 Saugus teams, I believe, which is really something to be proud of. One of our biggest struggles when making this was not knowing if people were going to take it the wrong way, because we did do it a different way than everyone else. I mean, not to sound arrogant, but we did it like it was a 1950s commercial, because we wanted to separate ourselves from the rest of the competition. All of these projects have the best intentions in mind, of course, right? Because it's for a good cause, for preventing like the stigma of mental illness, but we didn't know people were, if they were going to think we were trying to make it a laughing matter or not taking it seriously enough. That's not at all what we were intending to do. We wanted to make it have that 1950s commercial aesthetic, which is such a big part of American culture. You know, the host with and then cutting back to like different scenarios, right? So that was probably just our biggest struggle. But the way that we did it, I'm glad we did it the way we did, because a lot of these competitions, although like I said, can go into it with the best intentions, they can actually fall into a chain of being kind of repetitive and, you know, somewhat unoriginal to some extent. But I'm glad that we did it the way we did, and I hope that it pays off so far. I'm already honored to have reached this far into the competition. So, thank you.
Back in August, it all started when my parents got divorced. It was a really hard time for me. I felt so alone. I started to fail my classes. I stopped hanging out with my friends when they would invite me places. Then I started to become really tired all the time and I couldn't sleep. I had no motivation to do anything until one day I told my friend what I was going through. She was very supportive and suggested that I should go to the wellness center at our school, which allows people to talk to a therapist and get help. I went the next day and it was very beneficial. I was able to talk to her comfortably, and she really helped me get through things. I wasn't afraid to ask for help, and you shouldn't be either. For more information, visit the website listed below.
Congratulations again on all of your wins. We can't wait to see what you guys will achieve in the future. A dance organization decided to put together a virtual dance nationals for high school teams all across the country. Each team submitted videos from their competition pieces a few weeks ago. Then they all met as a team on Zoom to watch the competitive categories together. Saugus brought home first place in 2 categories that included the whole team. They won first in the medium lyrical category with a piece that is very special to them. It's set to a rendition of What the World Needs Now is Love, and that their dancers decided to dedicate to Gracie and Dominic back in November. They also came in first in the medium jazz category with a piece choreographed by their coach, Taylor Hansen. This piece also beat out 50 other entries, winning them the championship award of Best Overall Jazz Piece of any size, which means they got the championship rings for the first time ever. Congratulations, ladies. The newest edition of the Saugus Scroll is now available. If you're interested in reading, go to the Saugus website. There isn't a ton to do because of quarantine, so Santa Clarita is having virtual movie nights every Friday night through Netflix Party. If you are interested, the movie lineups, start times, and party links will be posted on these social medias. Tonight's movie is Hugo. Group coloring hours will be offered on Fridays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for some relaxation time. Email Mrs. Manam Kayan at the email below to sign up. SCN's annual collaborative documentary has now been released, and SNN is a part of it. The documentary this year is about the power of social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can now view it on the STN website or on the STN YouTube channel listed below. Governor Gavin Newsom has announced that Phase 2 of reopening California is now beginning in some counties, although LA County is not included. Also, an invasive species dubbed the murder hornet has entered the U.S., which could lead to a large drop in the population of honeybees. Let's go to Marie Morcos to find out more.
Hello Saugus, I'm Marie Morcos reporting for SNN. This week we have another update on what's going on in the world around us, and even closer to our own homes. Let's take a look. First off, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you to all of our teachers for working hard to keep us educated during this semester. If 2020 couldn't get more eventful, giant Asian hornets, also known as murder hornets, have officially been spotted in the U.S. for the first time. The massive hornet can be devastating to honeybee populations, making it an invasive species. It also has an incredibly painful, toxic sting that can be harmful to humans. Since the first sighting was in Washington state, officials are unclear how the species arrived in North America, but urge people to report possible sightings of the insect. They are usually 1.5 to 2 inches in length, have a large orange or yellow head with prominent eyes, a black and yellow striped stomach, and they form large colonies that usually nest in the ground. The good news for us, these guys do not normally attack people or pets, but can and will attack when they feel threatened. So stay away from these guys, because their stingers contain an enzyme and neurotoxin mixture that destroys tissue and can be very deadly. With some better news, LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger announced the first round of businesses and locations that can reopen. These include trails, golf courses, florists, car dealers, stores that will sell toys, sporting goods, books, clothing, music, and more. Only curbside pickup for retail will be available. Barger says that reopening these stores are less about the products, but more about the ability to maintain social distancing. There are 4 benchmarks that must be met before LA County eases its stay-at-home orders. These include adequate staffing at hospitals and testing facilities, protecting the elderly, homeless, and those living in institutional settings, increased capacity to test, and the ability to practice social distancing. That being said, stay home and stay safe, Saugus. This has been Marie Morcos reporting for SNN.
Thanks, Marie. Even though Phase 2 has not yet begun within our county, it is now more important than ever to stay updated on our current situation. Speaking of staying updated, online classrooms are the way that we are all receiving our education right now. So if you are still in need of a Chromebook, contact Mrs. Peterson Henry at the email listed below. Although we may not be at school, our staff has put together a virtual Serenity space for students. Some of the activities include an online support group meeting Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. online for any student feeling uneasy or experiencing anxiety. To sign up, email Mrs. Peterson Henry or Mr. Roundsville at the emails listed below. That's all for me. Now let's go to Sean Pacheco with the second half of this week's announcements.
Good morning, Saugus. I'm Sean Pacheco, and I will be your anchor for the second half of the show. Anyone who is in need of a work permit will need to contact the district office. No work permits are being issued on campus during this time. Blank work permits can be accessed on the Hart District website and taken to the district office once signed by a parent and an employer. Grand Canyon University is offering a scholarship that takes off 25% towards tuition through May 21st. For more information, contact Rochelle Egan at rochelle.egan@gcu.edu or go to the website listed below to get started. All the current students who will need to sign up for the next career pathway class in their sequence can email Mrs. Dahlquist at the email listed below. COVID-19 has caused many workplaces to close. However, it has also had a major impact on sports all around the world. Let's go to Hannah Sprague to learn more about the effect this pandemic has had on the sports scene.
Good morning, Saugus. I'm Hannah Sprague with a look into how Corona is changing sports. Obviously, Corona has put a lot of things on hold, from school to shopping to today's topic, sports.
For all my football fans out there, I have some good news. For now, the NFL plans to start its season as scheduled with the 2020 season opener on Thursday, September 10th. Of course, there is a chance that the 2020 season could be canceled for COVID if it gets worse. But in their words, they plan to stick with normal schedule until someone says it's impossible. On April 30th, NASCAR released its revised Cup Series schedule for May of 2020. It remains committed to running 36 races, 4 of which were completed before COVID-19 pandemic shut down the sports world. Not so great news for my hockey fans. They say they will encourage players and other members of the NHL community to take all responsible precautions, including self-quarantine. Their goal is to resume play as soon as appropriate so that they will be able to complete their season and award the Stanley Cup. With the MLB season on hold, a featured sport on ESPN is now Korean baseball. While this is a bit odd, and it wouldn't be happening if not for Corona, Korean baseball is now heating up since the MLB season is on hold. Wanting the return of live sports, you can now watch Korean baseball play with no crowd and masks. Odd as it seems, it gives them something to do and baseball fans something to watch.
That's all for today's COVID sports news. Please continue to stay safe, wash your hands, and social distance.
Thanks, Hannah. Even though we can't be with others, we need to make sure that we continue to exercise and maintain physical health. For any students who've not yet submitted their college acceptances, you can still email them to Mr. Fricky at the email listed below. If you find yourself feeling anxious throughout these days, and if you need someone to talk to, perhaps call the Disaster Distress Hotline. It's a national hotline dedicated to providing immediate crisis counseling for people who are experiencing emotional distress related to any natural or human-caused disaster. Call the number listed below, or text Talk With Us to 66746. That's all for this week's show. I'm Sean Pacheco. Make sure to keep washing your hands and staying safe. Have a great day and a great week, and don't forget to keep social distancing, although it may be difficult. We will see you next Friday. We leave you with a message from some of our teachers and staff.
Hi Saugus, it's Miss Monteleone from the counseling office. I wanted to send you some words of encouragement. We're almost through with the semester. You can do this. I know you've been working hard, just a couple more weeks to get through. Get those assignments turned in, reach out to your teachers if you need anything, reach out to us if you need anything. I know you can do it. Finish strong, Saugus. You got this.